Welcome back to Let's Get Tipsy.
I'm Priscilla.
I'm Fernando. This is a podcast where we take a couple of drinks, talk about random topics because
Because we can.
we can. So today, we're kind of like jumping back to episode 1 because October is over.
Aw, I love Spooky Month.
It was really fun recording for October, but we have to get back to our regular broadcasting.
Regular programming.
And we're jumping back, but we're doing it a little bit different because yesterday
we tried a different style rather than reacting about a topic that the other one brings. We just watched the same movie. Spoiler alert for a couple weeks from now. And we talked about it together, and we seemed more cohesive.
Yeah, everything flowed through more smoothly, and we really enjoyed that style.
So we were like, yeah, we should totally do that for the next podcast. We can talk about one of the topics.
Yeah, and I think going forward, we're going to keep trying to do that.
We're finding our style.
We're finding our style, so it could change, but like we really enjoyed that, so we might stick with that. So we're pretty much catching up from where we left off.
On Attack on Titan.
Today we're strictly doing Attack on Titan.
Yes, we're going to go back to Avatar at some point. But for now, today, we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan.
Yes.
However, like I said, we decided on this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And Fernando couldn't really watch an entire season of Attack on Titan.
Yeah. So I just watched a recap to kind of like catch me up on season 1, and oh my god, when I tell you I got intrigued.
It's a good show. I watched it in 2 days back in middle school.
I could see why, because it was really interesting.
Now imagine the pain of waiting for each episode to come out.
Oh my god.
Jeez, that was the longest wait, but it was worth it. It was so worth it, and I can't wait to tell you all about it.
And just in case you are interested in watching it or haven't watched it yet, and if you haven't seen the title, we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan. So, spoiler alert, this is your spoiler alert. We might jump into other topics down the road of Attack on Titan. So, this is your warning.
If you haven't watched it and you watched the first episode that we recorded, then, sorry.
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 We're catching up from where we left off, So
we left off with the owl turning Grisha into a mindless titan. And so Grisha would eat the owl and then become an attack titan. So a titan shifter. Once again, there's 9 titan shifters. And like I said before, the owl had told Grisha that he had to go to Eldia inside the walls and make a family, find someone to love, and just live a normal life. Because that's the only way to end the cycle. Grisha, with not having many options left, kind of makes his way to the walls and meets a woman called Carla. This is gonna be his woman. He also, since he had a better understanding, like, I don't think he had a medical background per se, but in comparison to Eldia, who's still 100 years behind, Marley, where he came from, he had like a better, just modern knowledge.
which makes sense. I mean, is it like a pretty new relative city or so?
Yeah, like they had cars. Come on.
So
And he shows up to a city, and the city is suffering from an epidemic, and he actually manages to stop it and save many lives. He was the hero of that city.
Yeah.
So they deem him a doctor because obviously he didn't have to go to school or get his PhD.
Right.
They were just like, I guess.
You'll be our doctor. You're the chosen one.
Yeah. He makes a life with Carla, and they have Aaron. And then we go into the first episode, finally.
Fine. From the first episode, I watched a recap, so it flew by kind of quick. So on the first episode, how exactly did it start?
Okay, so they're collecting wood for a fire to take back home. Mikasa picks up the most, Aaron picks up the least. Aaron was taking a nap, so and when they're heading back, they encounter Hannes. Hannes, he's garrison soldier. The garrison basically protect the walls. They make sure that the walls are secured. However, Hannes was drunk.
Oh.
And Aaron is like, you should be protecting the walls. What are you doing? And Hannes goes, man, these walls haven't been touched in 100 years. What's going to happen? Calm down.
Little does he know.
Little does he know. But then, well, they watch the scouts come back from the walls. So the scouts,
Yeah.
they're the soldiers that can leave the walls to fight titans. Most people inside the walls have never seen a titan before. Only the scouts have. And they come back and everybody's like surrounding the street to watch the heroes return, per se.
Right. But
And
they look
maybe about 15% of them come back alive.
Yeah.
It's impactful. You can tell what kind of anime this is because a woman asks like one of the generals. He's like, "Where's my son? Where's my son? I'm looking for my son." And the general, Erwin, he goes, "Give it to her." They hand her a wrapped up like blanket. She opens it to find out that it's her son's severed arm.
Oh my god, I remember this.
And they say, "I'm so sorry, that is all we could recover." And she starts breaking down and they start walking past her like it was normal.
There's not much they can do.
And their purpose is to find a way outside of the walls or find something to tell them where the Titans are coming from. Because although now we know, they still don't. And Aaron just kind of watches them disappointedly. And he overhears a guy say, "Oh, they suck. Like, they never do anything." So Aaron hits them with a stick. Hits the grown man with a stick. And Mikasa drags him away down a hall. Like, down an alley.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we meet one of our main characters, too. Called Armin. He's getting beat up by somebody. And the bullies are like, what is Aaron gonna do? Because Aaron is running towards them. And they go, alright, let's go. Let's beat him up, too. But then they see Mikasa.
Oh, yeah.
And they bolt. And they're like, we don't want that heat. We're not built for that.
Because Aaron has the energy, but Mikasa actually has the power to defeat them.
Yeah. Poor little Armin. He's out there beaten up. But he's like, I can't let that, like, hurt me. Like, I'm fine. At some point, Aaron and Mikasa go back home. And Mikasa tells Aaron's parents. We don't know why Mikasa's with Aaron's parents yet, but we're going to find out eventually. Mikasa tells Aaron's parents that Aaron wants to become a scout. Once again, probably like the death rate on being a scout is more than like 70%.
Right.
If you want to, then I guess you can go be a scout and you'll be gone within a day or two.
Yeah. And I remember that from this episode, his mom was like instantly like, no, like you're not doing that.
Reasonably so.
Reasonably so, because it's kind of like a death wish at this point, because it's like you see how many return from when they originally come back. The chances are very low.
And what's so frustrating is that whenever Grisha hears this, he goes, well, I have to go to work, but Aaron, when I come back, I need to show you my study in the basement. And Aaron is like, really? Because no one can go into his study.
Yeah.
Grisha wanted to show Aaron something very, very, very important. So Grisha leaves, and Aaron is fighting with his mom. And eventually he runs off because, you know, whenever you were a kid, and then you had a fight with your parents, and you're like, I'm running away. And they're like, okay, go. Go. And then you get a block down the street, and you're like, dang, kind of hungry. Let me not. They find Armin, and they're talking about the outside world and how Armin is telling Aaron and Mikasa that there's a sea full of salt. There's water full of salt, and it covers 70% of the earth. And Aaron goes, there's no way, because the merchants would have gotten it all by now. And like, he's talking about volcanoes or lands of sand, deserts. He's just explaining the world, and Aaron is like, sure. And as they're yapping, something bad happens. Something very bad happens.
So, while they're sitting around and just talking, the bad thing that happens is the colossal titan shows up.
Thunder.
At the wall.
Thunder.
And he breaks a hole through the wall, and the mindless sightlings start coming in, and pretty much they're mindless, their one purpose is just to eat people.
Yeah, they get through Shiganshina.
They get through the outer wall. So then everyone starts evacuating into Wall Maria.
So Eren, Armin, and Mikasa are in that circle, and then they go, "Oh my gosh, it's in the direction that where my house is at." And Armin goes, "I need to find my grandpa." And they run back. However, when they come back, a boulder has broken through, like, has hit the house. And Eren's mom is below,
like, trapped.
yeah, like trapped in the remains of the house. And Eren goes, "Ma, I need to get you out of here. Mikasa, help me." And the mom goes, "No, save yourself, da 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 da." And Hannes, the drunk guy,
Yes.
he comes back and he's like, "I'll save you, Carla." And then he goes as if he was gonna kill the mindless titan that's going after Carla, Diana Fritz. And the second he sees her, he looks at her and he just goes, "I'm not about it, actually." And then he runs back and picks the kids up and he goes, "Bye, Carla. I'll take care of them." And runs away with Mikasa and Eren in his arms. Eren is fighting, like, trying to get away, like, trying to go back to his mom. And as he does that, he looks up as Diana Fritz is holding his mom's body. Her legs aren't moving because her legs are broken. And she's hitting him, like she's hitting the mindless titan, Carla is. And then Diana Fritz, mindless titan, casually just grabs her, breaks her like a toothpick, and chomps.
And meanwhile, Eren is watching all of this.
Poor Eren. Imagine the
That
trauma.
is so traumatic to see that going on.
And as they leave, that's when we get the armor titan.
Yeah, so they start going towards Wall Maria, and because that's where everyone's trying to evacuate to, because the first wall broke. They go into it, but that's when they encounter the armor titan, full speed running towards Wall Maria, and breaks through Wall Maria.
And now the third wall has been compromised.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot of people inside of Wall Maria.
Yeah.
We have like 30-40% of the population because Wall Maria has poorer people. And if you're poor, then oopsie. And I think that's where they get most of their food too. The farmers live there and stuff.
Yeah, so I think in this scene is where they start evacuating in boats, right?
Yeah.
To get to is that the next wall that they go to?
They're trying to get into Wall Rose. However, the citizens in Wall Rose are like, "Bro, y'all don't fit. Y'all do not fit in here."
So only a limited amount of people can go. They stick to pretty much what they normally do is just like children and women.
Yeah, that first, but they end up all going in. However, they realize that they don't have enough rations to go around.
So once they get into Wall, this
Rose.
is Rose now. They don't have much food to go around because I mean,
So much people.
there's so much people that went in there, so they're literally just given like a piece of bread. That's their food for the day. And this is when Eren decides like he's over it, and he wants to join the scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is frustrated with the situation. He is angry that one of the Titans ate his mom.
As one should.
So he's like, if we're just gonna sit around and do nothing, like he wants to join the scouts. This is the group of it's Eren, Mikasa, and Armin.
Yeah, Mikasa goes, "Well, if you do it, I do it, I guess."
And then Armin goes, "Well, I guess if you are gonna do it," not wanting to, but like since they're all together, he joins in. While they're in the shelters, Eren has this dream, and when he wakes up from it, well, the dream was pretty much that he remembers that his dad has something in the basement for him that he had mentioned to him, and when he wakes up with a key around his neck.
The basement key.
The basement key.
As everything is going down, Dr. Jaeger, he finds out that the wall got penetrated. The wall has been compromised. So he immediately bolts with his little horse or whatever to the Reese family. The Reese family is the royal family. They're the ones that have the founding titan. The founding titan is the one that can control everyone and everything.
Mm.
And I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned how the king that brought them to Eldia believed that they were the devils and that they need to be eradicated. So that's when he brought 100 people into the walls and made the walls from colossal titans and erased everyone's memory and made them think that they were the last beings on Earth. And however, that deprecating style like gets passed on with the founding titan.
Oh, okay.
So every royal member has believed the same thing. And whenever like there's a young one being like, I don't know why we're not doing something to fight back, they eat the founding titan, they become the founding titan, and then they inherit that hatred for their own kind. So Grisha wants to procure the founding titan because if the Reese family were to find out what was going down, then they would probably just surrender.
Oh.
And make everyone else surrender as well. So Grisha's like begging them like to not, like, he doesn't want to unalive this entire family because they have kids, they have wives, like this is a family. But in the end, he ends up eating them anyway.
He knows what his purpose was at the end of the day.
Yeah, but there's another underlying factor, but we're gonna get into that later.
Okay.
So now Grisha is the owner of the founding titan. Grisha runs back to Aaron that same night. Oh, also he leaves one person alive, and that's Rod Reese.
Who's Rod Reese?
Rod Reese, I don't want to say he's like, actually I am going to say I think he's the king, but he's not the main king, like in the way that they have a different figure on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
But that figure, he's like just there as a placeholder. He actually holds no power.
Okay.
The real like power wielding person is the founding titan, and the founding titan is the royal family, but they are kept hidden.
Okay.
So Rod Reese is the only living person from this family, and Grisha takes his little founding titan and finds his son, snatches him off the bed. He goes, "We gotta go," and Aaron is asking for explanations, and Grisha's like, "Can't tell you. I don't know why he couldn't tell him on the ride there, on the ride to the forest, but I guess not."
Right.
And then Grisha injects Aaron with the spinal fluid, so Aaron can become a mindless titan. So Aaron can eat his own father. So then Aaron eats Grisha. That's when Aaron inherits the attack titan and the founding titan in one go.
Oh.
And now he has a key. I don't really know how he got back to the shelter, though. Not gonna lie. But that was interesting. So now we wake up and we come to find out that most of the population, I think 60% or 70% of the people that were brought in from Wall Maria,
Mm-hmm.
elders and like disabled people or like people that did not have it, they were sent on a recovery mission
Into the other walls?
into Wall Maria.
Oh my god.
To try to recover the wall. However, these are regular people, or scouts, or highly trained scouts. They all die, and they sent regular elder people. Everybody knew it was an unaliving mission. It was to dwindle down the population because there were not enough resources to go around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then Armin develops a hatred as well. So now he actually does want to become a soldier because they're like, dang, they sent my grandpa.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Yeah. So then we cut forward to them on the training ground.
So then, once they join the training corps, or corp, I have this pulled up just because their names are very confusing and very hard to remember. Because there's a lot of them. They begin the boot camp under instructor Keith Shadis.
Hopefully I'm saying it right. I could be saying it wrong. Who knows?
The class consists of the Shigashina trio, the undercover Marleyan warrior trio.
And this is Reiner, Annie, and Bertold. Remember the warriors that we talked about episode 1, in which I mentioned how Zeke, raised by Grisha, was supposed to be a double soldier, but then he told on his parents because, you know, he's not on their side. But
Not
yeah,
on his parents' side.
quick little reminder, the warriors are Eldians who train from childhood with the goal, their ultimate goal is to become Titan shifters so they can support Marley, because they are fed information that Eldians are bad. Eldians are bad. Scum of the earth, like, shouldn't exist. and they actually infiltrate the walls whenever everything went down, because I don't know if you mentioned, but the Hardmer Titan, the one that tore down Wall Maria, was Raynor, and the Colossal Titan, the one that kicked open Shiganshina, was Bertold. And then we have Annie with them as well. They had another member, but we're not going to touch on him yet. He's kind of not here with us anymore.
So along with this trio, it's also Krista or Historia, Ymir, John, Connie, Sasha, and Marco. By the end of their training of the 104 Corps, most of them graduate with top rankings of the top 10 of their class, joining the actual military.
And just for some context, also to help you in the future, knowing their names and knowing who's who, and if you're actually following along, so you can also know who is who.
It's hard to remember.
It is. It's a lot of names. Shoot, I forget them sometimes. Eren is our main character. We know Eren at this point.
We know Eren, yeah.
We know Mikasa. Should I touch on Mikasa's past a little bit? That way we just gloss over it next time?
We can, because I do remember seeing, like, a little bit down the road how she came about.
Yeah, Mikasa, basically, she had a family. Had, past tense. Her mom was actually Japanese, but thing is, the Japanese don't exist inside of the walls, so they're very popular for human trafficking.
Oh, okay.
And so Mikasa was just chilling with her parents, like nothing was happening. They hear a knock at the door because they're waiting for Dr. Jaeger to come and like do a little visit. However, human traffickers are the ones that pull up, and they immediately unalive Mikasa's dad. And then Mikasa's mom goes, Mikasa, run away, as she goes towards the attackers to attack them. But then she also gets... And then so Mikasa's there sitting in place, shocked, because she just saw her parents get unalived, duh. And so they kidnap her, and she's like, fine. This is not the same badass Mikasa that we know today.
I think this is where her story began.
Yes.
This is her villain story.
This is her origin. Origin story. So she's in a cabin, like secluded from the world, and Eren and Dr. Jaeger arrive to Mikasa's house, because obviously, I don't know if you remember also, the owl told him, protect Eren, Armin, and Mikasa. And obviously, whenever someone makes an appointment for Mikasa, Dr. Jaeger went, that's a name I've heard before.
That's who I'm supposed to protect. So
he takes Eren with them, and he's like, oh, Eren, you can be friends with this girl. And Eren's like, I don't want to be friends with the girl. Ew, cooties. However, they find the house bloody and empty, aside from the two bodies of Mikasa's parents. And then we cut to a different cabin where they're like, the human traffickers are like, dude, you killed the full Japanese girl. We were supposed to sell her off. Like, she was worth more. But then they were like, dude, she came at me with an axe. What was I supposed to do? So we took the half Japanese girl, that's Mikasa, and she's just laying there on the ground like nothing. And then Eren has a little side quest. He pops into the cabin, acting like an innocent little lost child. Eren had it, like, he was about it from the beginning, I swear. Because he starts attacking these grown people, and he's like, Mikasa, like, do something, like, come on, bro. And then they got Eren, like, held up, like, they like managed to restrain him after he already unalived one person. And he's like, Mikasa, bro, do something. And Mikasa, like, has this Ackerman strength, innate strength. She awakens her inner strength, and she takes, like, a spear and just unalives one of the other traffickers. She finds strength. She breaks through, like, she holds her stance so hard that she breaks through the wood on the floor.
Oh my god.
To gather strength to the...
Because it was three of the traffickers, right?
Yeah, because I think Eren took out two, and then he was trying to, like, save Mikasa. Like, he unties her or whatever, and then the third one pulls up, catches Eren by surprise, and that's the one that Mikasa awakens her strength for. So they get out, and then Eren's dad arrives, and he's like, bro, what? What did you do? Oh, and in this part, that's when Eren is like, Mikasa, you look cold. She's still in shock. But he wraps his scarf around her. His red scarf Mikasa's notorious red scarf that she always wears.
Mm-hmm.
That was given by Eren that first night.
Oh.
And Grisha's like, well, I'm supposed to protect you, so I guess come along. And
Yeah.
they basically adopt her.
Yeah.
Armin, we also know of. He's nerdy. He's a friend. He's loving. He's cute. He's super, super smart. Super book smart. Super strategy smart. Like, he ends up being a key point to where we are, to the end of the story. Like,
Okay.
he becomes, like, general level smart. Then Reiner, he's the big bro. He's the big older bro that we all trust and love, that ends up betraying everybody. He actually ends up developing like a little bipolar disorder.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, I'm a warrior, like Marley is my land, but he's like, I'm a scout. I'm supposed to protect the walls.
The walls, yeah.
So he like develops like a second personality of sorts where he doesn't know like who he is anymore.
Oh.
He's like, I've been here too long. Like he attaches himself to the people. He starts to believe on the scout cause, and he sees Marley's side, but also he was born with the belief, like he was raised with the belief that everyone in LD is evil and they're devils. But he's like, these are my friends. I train with these people. People like my friends have died, and he's just so like much pressure on him. We have Benadryl, and he is just cool-headed. He's a colossal titan. He's just like there for the cause and there only for the cause. Then we have Annie. She's this cold blonde character. She's a super good fighter. She's a female titan. She's very put together, very serious. She has no friends. She doesn't talk to anybody. We have John. John has a liking to Mikasa. He's also a strong soldier, smart, agile. Nothing too special. He's a lovable character. He was my favorite character at one point. He has leadership skills, but obviously when we have like such badass characters, like he's kind of overshadowed a little bit.
Yeah.
And he also kind of always lives in the shadow of Eren.
Oh.
Because
okay.
like I think he told Mikasa that her hair looked good long, so Mikasa's like, I'm gonna cut my hair. And like at some point in the future, like he's like, he genuinely grows to love Eren as a comrade, and he's like, Eren, you suicidal maniac, like what is wrong with you? But it's like a good camaraderie, if I can describe it. Sasha, we love Sasha. Sasha's such a sweetheart. She's a food loving sweetheart. She would trade you for a potato, bro.
For a potato.
And Sasha's best friend is Connie. Connie is also a goofball. We love Connie. They're besties. They're always messing around. They're always playing around. They're just like they're the comedic relief in a way.
Oh, okay.
So that's another trio on its own, like Connie, Sasha, and John. We have Krista or Historia. Little backstory. Krista is a fake name. Her real name is Historia. And she's actually born from Rod Reese, who's part of the royal family, like I mentioned, from an affair. And he keeps her hidden in a farm.
Oh.
And her sister, the one that had the founding titan, the one that gets eaten by Grisha, she would always visit her. And like tell her happy stories and read to her. And Historia's like just confused, bro. Like she doesn't know who's her dad. She doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing.
Oh, so she doesn't even know herself?
She quite knows. She knows that she has to change her name. I think she does know that she's royal blood. That's why she changes her name. And thing is, she's very held off, very standoffish. But whenever she joins the corps, she vows to herself to not be like that anymore. So she's super kind and goes out of her way for others. And then she meets Ymir. Ymir is another person that you mentioned.
Yes.
Ymir is actually from Marley as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Marley. She was in prison. Like, I think she was like just a little homeless little girl, and gets like basically adopted by a cult, who are like, this is the original Ymir. Ymir is a little girl that got chased because of a pig. Or the first little girl I talked about, remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the original Ymir, but she gets named after her because she didn't have a name. She was homeless.
Oh, okay.
And they got her, and they're like, oh, that's our queen, and people bow down to her or whatever. But then when this cult gets discovered of people that are like worshiping Ymir, then they send them all to like the boats to be shunned off to LD as mindless titans.
Oh, okay.
And as she's a mindless titan, she comes across 4 people. These 4 people are Reiner, Annie, Bertold, and the little friend. I forgot his name.
The little friend.
And she catches them when they're asleep. So Ymir was gonna eat Reiner, but the friend pushes him out of the way, and she ends up eating the friend. This friend was the Jaw Titan. So now Ymir has the Jaw Titan.
Oh god.
So she has all the knowledge of Marley, but she just wants to lay low. But I don't know why she would join the military to lay low, but whatever.
Yeah.
But she doesn't tell anybody. And fun fact, in the future, like when they're stuck in this like castle somewhere or a mansion somewhere, Ymir reads a can of old Merlian language. Ymir's like hundreds of years old, because they stay a mindless Titan forever. They don't die.
Oh.
They just chill at the same like age or whatever. And she reads the can, and Reiner, being a Merlian himself, like Ymir reads the can, and Reiner goes, "You can read that?" And they don't reveal it to the audience, but it is old Merlian language. So Reiner clocks it.
Oh.
He's like, "She's from Marley from a long time ago. She must be the Jaw Titan that is my best friend."
Oh my god.
But he doesn't mention it because these are scheming little effers, okay? And who else did we mention?
The other one, the last one was Marco. Yeah.
Marco, he's just loving. He's John's friend. They're cute. Like, he's the one when we're gonna get into the battle of Trost. He catches John on the side and he's like, "Man, have more confidence. Like, you're a natural born leader." We don't end up finding much else about Marco because something happens.
Oh.
But I think that is the synopsis of the group. They're all in top 10. Obviously, Mikasa actually ends up being top in her class. Best fighter, best strategist. Like, she whenever the Battle of Trost happens,
She seems like it.
they put her in front lines. Like,
okay.
She gets put with like high ranking level officers, and she's like, "Bro, I just graduated, man." Like, what do you mean? Like, imagine graduating from like your undergraduate program, and they're like, "Okay, you're a lawyer now." Bro, I haven't gone to law school. What? That. But she's that talented.
I mean, she seems like it. Like, from the beginning, like, she always seems like it.
But the thing is, she has the Ackerman blood.
What's that?
The Ackermans have this thing. If I'm not mistaken, they were always second hand to the king, to royalty.
Oh.
They were bred to be protectors, like warriors.
Oh.
To protect the founders.
Yeah.
So her and Levi are the strongest people in the show. They are both Ackerman.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I told you, from the beginning, she does seem like a warrior. She's always like, from when they were protecting Amir. Like, from the beginning, she seemed like a warrior.
She's like such a dope character. OP in my opinion, but we love Mikasa. But again, we love an OP character. Like, sometimes it's just the innate talent. Like, she can keep up with the big dogs, bro.
Yeah.
But that's our main cast.
Okay.
Try to remember most of them, but we're gonna touch back in them.
Okay.
Further on. So then, once they graduate, they get sent to Trost, to the Trost district. All the 104. So
once the 104 corps complete their training, they are assigned to Trost. But the warriors decide to make their next attack. Meanwhile, Benadryl turns into the Colossal Titan and breaks a hole in the wall. After a brief confrontation with Eren, the Colossal Titan retreats as Titans pour into the city. As confrontation, they mean that Eren is like, "Oh, not you again." He was like, "You're not gonna get away from me this time." He grips on. He wants to slash his neck whenever he like roams, like zips through the clouds. The armor titan is gone. Yeah, he literally just vanishes in thin air. Yeah, like well, they see all the titans walk in, so immediately like they rush to make little groups. For example, like Eren and Armin and a couple more scouts that are unnamed. They get in a little group and they're like, "All right, guys, we got this. Yes.
And Reiner, Annie, and Bertold are in a different group with some other people, with Marco too. And they tell Mikasa, "Hey, you're gonna be doing this important thing," and Mikasa's like, "What?" Like, bro, I just graduated. What am I gonna, like, this is, like, high-level stuff. And they're like, bro, you're good enough. And she's like, I just graduated from my undergrad program, and now you're telling me I can be a doctor. And they're like, you're the best one we have right now, bro.
Literally. But during this fight, Eren gets ate by one of the Titans.
Santa Claus!
Which looks like Santa Claus, low-key. But in the Titan's stomach, his, attack Titan abilities like come to him.
Yeah, like I think I don't have that much clear too. I think you have to have a purpose for it.
So he, in the stomach, he becomes the attack Titan, and he, in his mind, he knows his purpose was to attack the Titans since the beginning. So he starts fighting the mindless Titans that broke through the wall.
As he's doing this, Armin goes back because his entire squad is unalived by Titans. Once again, it goes to show how powerful Titans are. Like, this is the survey card. Well, this is just freshly graduated soldiers. Goes to show that the first mission to, like, reclaim Wall Maria was just the unaliving mission. Like, these are trained soldiers that don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
And they had just graduated from boot camp, I guess. So he goes to Mikasa at first, and he's like, Mikasa, I lost my whole squad. And she's like, where's Eren? And Armin goes, I lost my whole squad, bro. And she deadpan. She's like, oh. And then she goes feral. She starts running through the building, starts killing all the Titans with no regards as to her gas thing. They have ODM gear that relies on gas.
Yeah. But then on one of the occasions, she runs out of gas.
Because she has no care. I think she's going on an unaliving mission as well. Because she's like, if I don't have Eren, I don't want to
What's the point? Yeah, what's the point of living?
So dramatic, first of all.
But I mean, he was there from the beginning for her too.
True. But also, this is war, bro.
Exactly, it's war. Like, most of us are gonna be unalive by the end of this.
Oh, important thing to mention was that when Eren was in Santa Claus's mouth, he goes, I will not die in a place like this. As Santa Claus told him. Just for future reference.
Once they get pretty much victory from the war.
Because Eren done wiped a lot of them out. And they're like, what up? That's Eren.
Yeah. They were like, didn't Eren get 8? What's going on here?
Yeah, because they don't know yet. We know because I done spoiled everything. But I don't think that mentions it, but everybody's weary of him because, like, they don't like Titans. Titans are, like, demons. Like, they're killing everybody. So, like, why does he turn into a Titan? They're immediately assuming that he was one of the ones that messed up the walls. So they're like, oh, we're gonna unalive you.
Yeah, they want to execute them. But that's when he turns into a Titan, because they literally had, like, a cannon.
Yeah, to protect them, because Eren wakes up and he's like, what's going on? And they're surrounded by so many soldiers. And because he ends up protecting Mikasa at some point. But they're surrounded by so many soldiers that are like, what in the world are you? And Eren doesn't even know what's going on. And Armin is trying to defend them. And they're like, actually, we don't trust you. So they fire the cannons. And in that moment, Eren turns into a Titan halfway, just a skeleton or whatever.
Yeah.
To ward off the cannons to protect Mikasa, Armin, and himself. So then they're like, ooh, weird. And like,
I know in the recap, it was pretty much saying there was two way out of his. Eren was telling Armin, he convinces the soldiers to believe in him and trust him to help. Or I forgot what the other one was. Or like that he would just like run away.
Or like unalive everybody, one of the two. But they're like, okay, like what happened? So actually what happens is after like Eren defends himself, Pixies shows up. I think he's the commander of the garrison regiment.
Yes.
That protect the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I think we can use him. So he's with Eren on top of the wall, telling him, hey dude, what's going on? And Aaron's like, bro, I don't know, man. And Pixie goes, just follow along. So they get on top of the wall and they're like, Aaron, he's a scientific project that we have managed to like duplicate the DNA of the Titans. So we managed to make a Titan from a human, from a soldier. Aaron was an experiment that was successful. And he tricks people with that.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, we're going to use him as a weapon for humanity. And they start making a little plan or whatever. Like, I'm telling you, this is super ragged, super, like, last minute. And they're like, Aaron, you're going to get that big rock and put that big rock in the hole that the Colossal Titan made.
Right.
And they're like, can you do it? And Aaron is like, I guess I can try.
Yeah.
So basically they get on top of the wall and they're like, if you want to join the war, stay. If you're a coward, leave. Some people do leave because what? No, like they just saw like Titans, bro. So they try to rely on Aaron. They build a makeshift plan. And the plan was to clear up enough space. They have like, what's it called? Those guns that have like smoke guns. Jesus Christ, Priscilla.
Oh yeah, the smoke guns to let people know if it was successful or not.
Yeah, green means that everything's going to plan. Red means that everything went to crap. And so the plan is to protect Aaron all the way through as he makes his way to the rock. So they separate into groups. Mikasa insists to be with Aaron. Duh. Like,
of course.
You have to be blind to not see that crush.
Yeah.
Come on. And so the plan, Aaron is going with them. Everybody's like going towards the rock. While they're by the rock, Aaron bites his hand to turn into a Titan with a purpose. They need to have a purpose. And he turns into Attack Titan. However, they're like, okay, Aaron, go. Aaron starts attacking his own team.
He attacks Mikasa.
And he's like out of it. We get a glimpse into his mind. And he's just chilling in the living room with his parents. Like nothing's going on. Like in this, like in his head, like he's just like chilling, vibing. And Armin comes to Aaron and stabs him through the nape to be like, Aaron, lock in, bro. Come on.
Come back.
Because at some point, Mikasa's in his head, like in his face, being like, Aaron, wake up. Like, come on, we have shit to do. And Aaron, like, instead of like analyzing it, he hits himself and breaks through his like face. So he's immobile for a little bit. And one of the doubting soldiers, she's like, I knew this would happen. So she sends out a red smoke gun.
Yeah, the
to be like, this failed, bro. This ain't gonna work out. And he's just laying there as Armin is screaming through his snake, being like, Aaron, wake up. And he's like, Armin, what are you talking about? I'm awake. Because he's in his head in his living room with his parents. And he's like, Aaron, we have to fight. And he's like, why would I fight? And Armin does his little like yap no jutsu that he's like just yapping his way trying to like win the battle. And he's like, man, lock in, dude. You're our last hope.
Come back.
Seriously. And they are like, okay, we have to leave him. Mikasa's like, we can't leave him. And everybody's like, bro, he tried to kill you.
Yeah.
Bro, he's gone. So they start like trying to retreat or whatever and trying to save as many people as they can and trying to fight the Titans. But they still want to protect Aaron low-key because that's their only hope. Because like, oh my gosh, Titan Shifter? Nobody's ever heard of that. And the soldiers that really don't know about it, they think that he's a human experiment. So he's invaluable. Like, they need to protect him. You know, like, there is no value to measure to his level because he's our only chance right now.
That's our last hope.
Yeah, so they're all trying to protect him. And finally, Aaron locks in. As they're losing hope, as everybody's dying, Armin finally gets through Aaron and he gets up. And then they're fighting for their lives. And then they hear stomps. They turn around and Aaron is holding a big rock.
The boulder.
Right beside his neck. Like trying to cradle it because it's so heavy. And you can see his thoughts that are like, I feel like it's crushing me. Like, I don't know if I can make it. And everybody's like, OMG, he is doing it.
So he locks in. Well, we had to pause right quick because we had to look at that scene and it was crazy.
That scene is my gospel. That is one of my favorite scenes in the entirety of Attack on Titan. I was like, wait, actually, Fernando, pause. We need to watch it right here, right now. I need you to see the passion that I'm speaking about this with.
Oh my god, and it was crazy because so as he logs back in and he's walking towards the wall, the captain sort of the one that doubted him at the beginning, is like, you know what? Protect Aaron at all costs. He needs to get to this wall.
It is such a switch up because he was like, yeah, I'm not trusting the sketchy ass government like thing. Like, ew, what? And all of a sudden he's like, put your lives on the line for him.
They literally go in a self-unaliving mission, running towards the Titans that are trying to get to Aaron and trying to stop them so he can reach the wall.
So Aaron is over here like, Tatakae, tatakae, which means like, please do not judge my sketchy translation, like my sketchy copying of the words, because I do not claim to speak Japanese. It just sticks in my head because when me and my boyfriend first watched it, we were like, tatakae, tatakae, go, which means like basically like fight,
yeah.
And he goes and he's like, I have to fight, and then we have this melodramatic song in the background.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my god, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. And he drops the boulder in the most dramatic scene. And he's like, fight one last time, and puts it down, and everybody goes, he did it.
He did it.
He did it.
The other girl that doubted him too, he was like, the soldiers didn't die in vain.
That made me so sad. Like,
it was because she started crying too. She was like, they didn't die in vain, and then shoots the signal,
the yellow signal,
the yellow signal that it was successful.
And everybody's like, recover them, recover the elite team, bring them back, because they made it.
They made it.
The first time I watched this, chills, dude.
It literally, like right now while watching it, I was like,
I love the show so much. And then
Levi pulls up.
We freaking love Levi. I know that every time we find a character that I like, I'm like, we love him.
we
love them. Please love them too.
He pulls up because Armin and Mikasa were trying to get Aaron back, but he's like stuck in the body. And then this is when a mindless Titan was pulling up to them. And then Levi shows up and defeats the mindless Titan.
Obliterates him like
literally.
Nothing. Like he's just tearing a chicken wing up.
And then he's like, what's going on here?
And then we cut. And that's when the scouts got back from their mission, because had the scouts been back in the walls, they would have been the ones to fight the Titans. They would have been the ones trying to recover Trost. But they were away in a mission. That's why they relied on the little freshly graduated people. And they go and put Aaron on a cell because, like, what in the world is Aaron?
Yeah.
They're like, he is not no experiment, bro. They know he's not.
At this point, they already know.
Yeah, so they put him in a cell, but as this is happening, the cleaning squad, including John and, like, Annie, Reiner, and Benadryl, they are all, like, going through dead bodies, trying to identify them. And then John sees Marco, and he has his face bitten off. Like, half of his face. And he's kind of in shock, and one of the nurses comes by, and she's like, can you identify him? And he's in shock, and he's like, and then the nurse goes, you're wasting time. These bodies are gonna start, like, causing diseases. Lock in. Tell me who this is.
Oh God.
And John is like, Marco from the 104 Court. He was my partner. And she goes, thank you, soldier. Bye.
What the?
Because, like, she's gotta be serious.
I mean, she's gotta get her job done, I guess. But
and it sucks because Marco was the one that told John. Like, I think Marco was one of John's best friends. That was like, hey man, you're a good leader. Like, you're doing great. Like, believe in yourself. And then Marco's dead right after.
Now Marco's gone.
But a little background into that. Marco is not gone because he's weak. Marco is gone because of the Warriors. The Warriors, after Benadryl birth control rips through the wall, they're like trying to recollect themselves, and they're like, okay, what do we do? Because, like, now, like, Aaron is gonna lock in. And they're talking about their plans, and Marco accidentally overhears them. And he accidentally makes a noise. That's when he gets noticed.
Yeah.
And Annie's having second thoughts. But Reiner, of all people, goes, take off his ODM gear. And she's like, if I take off his ODM gear, he's going to die. And Reiner's like, prove your loyalty to Marley. Which, first of all, they're Eldians. What? But whatever. I guess mind wash or whatever. But she ends up doing that, and they are the reason why Marco ends up unaliving.
So it wasn't one of the Titans. It was.
I mean, it was one of the Titans because of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we're doing the whole like recovery, cleanup, whatever. Meanwhile, Aaron is in court, and the military police want him so they can study him. But the scouts want him to keep an eye on him, and so they can also use him as a weapon. Because at this point, nobody really knows what Aaron is.
I mean, Aaron doesn't even know either.
Yeah. At this point. And it's a whole thing, and there's like fighting back and forth, and Aaron is like, we have to get to the basement, and the scouts go, what? And he goes, my father, he told me I need to go to the basement, and they go, for some reason they go, I mean, I guess it's important. And as they're in court, the scouts have it in their head, oh, we need him, like we need that weapon. Because I mean, they're the ones fighting for their lives. The military police is all cozy and Walsina. They're like with the like royals and with the rich people, and they're just chilling in the couch or whatever. Meanwhile the scouts
risking their whole lives, literally dropping by the dozen.
Exactly. We're like, we need a weapon, bro. So to prove a point, Levi takes it to himself to beat Aaron up in public.
Oh, in the court, yeah. To prove that they have control over him, like he can control it.
Yep. And he takes out some teeth, but whenever the court decision is over and the scouts do get him, Hanj is like the scientist of the scouts per se. She loves Titans. She finds Titans fascinating, and she looks at Aaron's mouth, and his teeth had grown back in. Yeah,
she realizes that it literally had regrown.
He has regeneration just like Titans do. So now the scouts have Aaron, and they move on to a secluded area because they're ready. They're going to get ready for a scouting mission. They take Aaron. They don't give Aaron a choice. However, the 104, they do get a choice. The ones that are still alive. Everybody but Marco.
Oh, okay.
And also the rest of the graduating class that's still alive. They're like, okay, you can choose between the garrison, the scouts, or the military police. However, the only ones that can choose the military police are the ones that were top 10 in their class.
Which just so happens to be them.
The main group.
Yeah.
And John, he always wanted to be military police. He was like, I want to leave a peaceful life. I'm not about it, bro.
I mean, yeah, after everything that's going on, that makes sense.
But after Marco dies, his best friend, after he sees all the things that went down, he's like fighting against himself, and he's like, I'm gonna be a scout. And everybody else in our main group also chooses to be a scout. I think at the end, like maybe like 15, 20 people choose to be a scout out of the like hundreds that they graduated with. Because Commander Irwin, he's the main one in the scouts. He's like the highest at the top, and he's like, this is dangerous, you might die, probably will die. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Join if you want, join if your heart is really about it. But if you're scared, stay back. Join the garrison for all I care. And everybody from our group ends up joining the scouts except for Annie. He's like, I am gonna go into the military police, which in hindsight is probably to get more intel for Marley. So we move on. The scouts, the ones that joined the scouts, Connie, Mikasa, Armin, John, Reiner, Benadryl, whoever I'm missing out on, they all go back to where Aaron is being held. Aaron has been cleaning. He's just been made. But, like, maid duties. And they're like, oh, hi, Aaron. And Aaron's like, John, you joined? And he's like, shut up. Don't question it. Just leave me alone. And then they have a mission to go to. So they go into motion. They start their little scouting mission. Just a regular scouting mission that scouts do. And we caught a little bit of Fernando up. I'm telling you, I love the show, so we were like, okay, let's pause and watch like half an episode real quick so he can understand everything that's going on.
So they go on a scouting mission, but they have a plan set up where they're gonna have people on the left side, right side, and center. So their mission is if they see any Titans, they throw out a red flare to warn the rest of them so they can swerve around them. But if they see anything abnormal, that's when they throw out the black smoke to let people know. And it goes off once, and then it goes towards the left side where Armin, John, and Rainer are at. They meet together.
Eventually, yeah. A different soldier, a more like stronger seniority-wise soldier, they spot her first, and they're like, hey, yo, that's not an abnormal. And then that's when they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll take it on, whatever. and they go to like cut her neck up.
Yeah.
And then she grabs the string and starts spinning it around like nothing.
Yeah. And just throws him to the ground. Pretty much smushes him. And they realize that she's not eating them. She's kind of just like taking them out. Armin realizes this because he's like, wait a minute, this is not a normal Titan. This is an intelligent Titan because she knows what she's doing.
It must be a shifter like Eren.
Yeah, that's when he points out it must be a shifter.
That's when the three lock in, and Reiner goes, "Oh yeah, the right wing. That's where Eren was supposed to be hidden at."
That's when Armin locks in and he's like, wait a minute, because I think it was Reiner. He was like, oh, he was supposed to be on the right side. And then Josh was like, oh, I was to the center. And then Armin's like, wait a minute.
I was told he was like on the front left or something.
Yeah. So then he puts everything together and he's like, oh, he must be here then in the center. So once he realizes this, because the Titan tried to attack them, but he didn't kill Armin at first. So he was like, she must be looking for Eren. So he tells the three of them to put their caps up.
Mm-hmm.
And because if she's looking for Eren, she has to see who she's taken out first before actually like accidentally killing him. So John tries to swipe her neck. He realizes that, oh shit, I'm about to die, because he can't get to her neck. And then that's when Armin, he yells out, "Avenge the suicidal maniac," pretty much giving the Titan that he killed Eren. He's like, yeah, I saw her splat him with her foot. Annie, which is the Titan. Annie
she
stops. She doesn't do anything to John anymore. And he sets him down. But then here comes Reiner and goes to attack her. And she catches him. And it looks like he squeezed him, no?
It looks like she like took him out. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "No, Reiner! I know why he perishes."
Because it literally, you can see him like getting squished.
But then again, regeneration.
Yep.
We saw the smoke coming out.
Because whenever he comes back, he like jumps out of her hand. He gets Armin, and they run away because they see the Titan going a different way. You can see that Reiner is like smoking, and he was like, "Oh, she's a coward. She's running back home now, like
but
we're
really?
safe." But in reality, he wrote down the coordinates of where Eren is at on her hand.
Mm-hmm. Because Armin had figured it out.
Yeah, because once Armin figured it out, and Reiner knew that where Eren's exact location was at, that was their whole plan the whole time, to capture him.
Mm-hmm.
And he told Annie, the Titan, where he was at. So that's why she ran off.
And then, so she starts running off, and they're like, okay, whatever. And Eren, in the meantime, he's with the elite squad. He's with Levi. He's with Petra. He's with Levi and friends. Like, he is with, like, the main protection squad. These are the strongest of the strong type thing.
Gotcha.
And he's running right after them. However, I forgot how they realize that she's right after them. They jump into a forest, which gives them the upper hand. Because having a forest, you can use your ODM gear to like lock into the trees.
Yeah.
And have higher ground.
Yeah.
So they order the soldiers to sit around the forest, essentially, just distracting the mindless Titans. In the meantime, I'm sure we're skipping through some important things, but hopefully by the next season, both me and Fernando can rewatch it. Everybody's like, wait, why are they having us just sitting up on top of trees? We just skim over that. But the main team, they're running. And Levi's team is like, no, Eren, you need to trust us. Like, we're good. Like, we are the most powerful people. Like, you have to rely on our team. And eventually they see Annie behind them.
Oh no.
Annie found them, and they're zooming, and Eren is like, I can save us. Goes to bite his hand, and then Petra goes, don't do it. And Eren goes like, what? And they're like, you have to believe in us.
Trust us. Yeah,
we're the elite squad. We got it. And Eren goes to a whole conundrum in his head, and he's like, what can happen? Like, dude, I can take her down, but also like, do I have it in me? But they're like, no, Eren, do not turn. Trust us. And Aaron has this whole like 15-minute dialogue in his head, and he's like, I don't know what to do. But he eventually he's like, I think Levi is like, do what you want to do. The consequences, that's on you. If you want to turn right now, do it. If you want to trust us, do it. Levi is like, make your decision.
Right.
And Aaron is like, I'm gonna trust them. And cut to like not even a few seconds later, they lead Annie into a trap. Into a Titan trap where a bunch of spears and a bunch of like the same string that is made for the ODM gear, the one that doesn't break that easily.
Yeah.
Stabs all through her body, thousands and thousands of spears in every which way, so she's immovable. But she locks in a spot where she's covering her nape, so they cannot get through her hands to cut her open. And they do so many of those. And at some point, Levi goes, I'm gonna see what this bee is. I'm gonna see who is inside of here. So as he goes to approach it, Annie freaks out and she yells out like a guttural scream, which attracts every Titan to eat her. Because she'd rather be eaten than to be figured out.
Right.
So they eat her and they're like, bro, what? So they're just confused. And eventually, I think they're retreating. But as they're retreating, Annie pops back up. And she's taking out the Levi squad. She takes out Petra. She takes out the elite team.
Oh my god.
And Aaron is going through it. He's like, I should have went with my gut. If I had just turned, they would still be alive. It is my fault for trusting them. Because, like, I should have done it rather than sacrificing their lives. And Aaron turns into a Titan and he goes to fight Annie. And they're fighting each other. But Annie ends up winning because Annie is a warrior. Annie has been training for years. Aaron barely became a Titan.
Yeah, he just started.
And Levi and Annie ends up getting Aaron like in her mouth to keep him secure to leave. But then Mikasa and Levi follow after her. And they're like, and Mikasa's not gonna let Aaron go.
Not that easily.
So they trap in Annie and they cut her jaw open in the point that she cannot help but open her jaw. They rescue Aaron, and when they recollect themselves back in like base, they're like, hey yo, what just happened? And Armin with big brain power, he realizes, dude, Annie is the female Titan. And like, thing is, now they no longer have support from the rest of the military because they just did such a big failure. They almost lost Aaron. They lost so many lives. So they're like not being supported. So that like our OG group and the general and Levi and Hanj, they all have to be like, actually, we have to go on our own. So they go in an undercover like little carriage thing into the military like police area. So like they go through Walsina. Eventually one of them finds Annie. I think it was Armin and Annie. And Armin is like, Annie, like you have to come with us. You have to help us. And at first Annie's like, yeah, let's go, whatever. And then they lead her to a tunnel. And Annie goes, I got found. But she doesn't say that. I'm just... she
found out that.
She senses, and they're like, Annie, come on, come help us. And Annie starts hysterically laughing.
Oh no.
And saying, do y'all really think I'm that stupid?
Oh no.
And she has a ring that's able to cut through her finger. Because you have to have a wound with a purpose. You can't just have a purpose and turn into a Titan. You have to have a wound. So she's like, ha ha ha. Y'all don't got me, bro. So she cuts through her finger and turns into the female Titan. In the middle of Wall Sina. This is the most important wall. This is the royal wall, bro. And then Aaron turns into his attack Titan form. And they start squaring up. They are destroying the city. They are going through everything. And it's just a long-winded battle. And eventually Annie's like, oh, Aaron is gonna get me. So she starts climbing the wall. And once she starts climbing the wall chips. And she falls back, and Aaron starts, like, punching her. And she's like, oh, I'm losing. So when she gets at her ends wit, she, like, hardens her, like, actual body into a crystal that is unbreakable. They can't get through to her, and everybody's surrounding her being like, darn, what shall we do? And then someone goes, wait, what's that? And they look at the wall that Annie had been climbing, and one of the chip pieces, it shows a colossal titan's face poking through. And I think that's where we end season 1. So Fernando, give me your thoughts. I want to hear everything, because genuinely, as such a huge fan, I want to hear your perspective on everything, because this time I swear we are gonna, like, lock in. But if he has to watch season 2, I'm gonna have to rewatch season 2. We have a week to rewatch it.
We're going to.
I will lack on sleep. I don't care. I have a day off tomorrow. You know how many episodes I can watch in one day? Too many. We're gonna do it.
We have to.
You have to.
Yeah, I will, because I mean, this first season, I mean, Pre's been telling me since the beginning, you need to watch Attack on Titan. You need to watch it.
We're talking like 3 years back, bro.
Literally. And then we started watching it, and it was interesting, but I never got, like, into it to fully, like, sit down and watch it. But after watching the recap and everything that she has told me so far, it's like, oh my god, I do need to watch this.
See, thing is, for Fernando, you have to, like, sit him down and be like, you have no choice. Sit down. We're gonna play it.
Literally, that's how Avatar happened.
Yeah, we were like, Fernando, are you down to watch it? And you're like, sure, I guess. And we're like, okay, sit down. And then we played it.
Yeah.
And for this one, I think you're gonna have to log in. I'm gonna text you the second you get off of work, and I'm like, hey, how many episodes have you watched? None. No. An hour later, hey, have you watched an episode? I am going to get this man to watch as many episodes as he can. I need him to.
I feel like I am gonna lock in, because now that I've watched it, like, not even I just glimpse of it, pretty much.
Well, at least you can skip season 1 now.
True.
You used it to start on season 2.
Yeah.
Which I hate to say, I hated season 2.
Oh, great.
It was boring to me, because after episode 6 is gonna lock into. Never mind. Actually, season 2 is pretty fun. I think season 3 is the one that pisses me off.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll see what happens season 3, but season 2,
season 2 is gonna play out pretty much the same as our last Spooky Month episode.
Okay, yeah.
Because, like, our last Spooky Month episode, we were both on the same page.
Yeah.
Hopefully, by next week, we're both on the same page again. And now he'll recognize the characters.
Hopefully. I had a hard time remembering their names, so hopefully by next episode I'll be like, oh my god, that's him.
Did you like it?
I liked it. Of course I did. I mean, I told you when I watched the first couple episodes, I liked it. It's just, it didn't click.
Yeah, I get it. I feel like I'm the same way. Like, I need to be into it. Like, you could tell me and it could sound like the most interesting story, and I'm gonna go, yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. Like, it's a different type of interest that has to peak. I barely watch any shows nowadays. I need to have, like, a locked in, like, zero in, like, tunnel vision type of thing.
Yeah.
But we're super excited, though.
We are. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, as always, leave us a comment down below. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Let's Get Tipsy Podcast.
And you can follow us on Twitter and YouTube at Let's Get Tipsy Pod. We'll keep posting on those. Holding out a little bit on the Instagram and Twitter end, because I feel like it's not fun unless there's some interactions. I'm still posting casually here and there, but nevertheless.
Yeah, so if you want to support us, follow us there. Again, as always, they're always linked down below somewhere, so you can find them.
And you can find us at
Fernando M643 on Instagram.
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Lovely Priscilla, lovely with 2 Y's, Priscilla, Priscilla.
Well, yeah.
It was so fun.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Drink safely.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.